TNA Wrestling on the road. They will be in Louisville, Kentucky on Friday and Saturday, August 30th, 31st. TNA Emergence Friday night on TNA Plus, by the way. And then Impact TV taping Saturday, August 31st. They are at the Old Foresters Paris Town Hall in Louisville, Kentucky. Easy for me to say. And then 2 weeks later, they hit the Lone Star State with Victory Road and Impact TV tapings at the Boeing Center at Techport in San Antonio on Friday, Saturday, September 13th and 14th. Someone that should figure prominently into those events joins me now on the hotline. A 20-year veteran of the Ring Wars, and honestly, one of the biggest names in wrestling today. He is the one and only Matt Cardona. Follow him on social media at the Matt Cardona. Matt, I appreciate the time. How are you, man?
Oh, I'm good. Thank you for having me. I can see behind you got a little WrestleMania poster. That's where I became the Intercontinental Champion. So
you did. That was my first WrestleMania up at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, the home of the Dallas Cowboys. I was there, saw that WrestleMania. You enjoyed it, man. But I tell you what, I have followed your travels, especially here in the last few years. Before we get to the wrestling stuff, and I see the mic flag there, you do host the Major Wrestling Figure podcast with Brian Myers. And of course, that is such a great resource for information about all things wrestling collectibles. I was lucky enough to talk to your lovely wife, Chelsea, I don't know, about a year or so ago, and she was in the middle of house hunting. So I got to imagine, hopefully by then you have found a house.
Yeah.
Did you find one with a space large enough to house the collection?
Funny enough, we actually had to build a house and put in a custom toy room. We couldn't find a house that was already built that had the space that I needed. So we're building one from scratch, and then we'll have this massive toy room that I'm very, very excited about. It's in the process of being built right now. So to answer your question, we cannot find a house in Orlando, Florida that had a room big enough for my collection.
I understand. I understand. How do you know? Do you at least have an estimate? How many items do you have in your collection now?
Not a clue. Thousands. That I don't have them organized. I got a list. It has to be thousands. It's certainly worth hundreds of thousands. But there's so many things in my collection. There's things that I love and I cherish, and they're worth so much money. Then there's things that are like meaningless, and I just have to get them to complete a set. Or there's things that are valueless besides like sentimental value, and I loved them as a kid, and they're worth nothing, but I want them in my collection. So my collection has a wide array of things.
Well, and that makes total sense. Yeah, like you said, either finish the set or just something that means a lot to you. Even if it doesn't have much value to anybody else, it has that value to you, and that's what's important. So, I gotta imagine it's kind of like I've always heard the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That was my very first reporting gigs when I started in sports radio, and I think they mentioned that the Hall of Fame itself, the building itself, houses less than 10% of their collection. So wow. I got to imagine it's something like you probably have kind of the same thing there at the Cardona Castle.
Yeah, I mean, right now, like I have my toy room is maxed out. This office that I'm in has some stuff on display, but then it's like my garage is a storage unit. I have a real storage unit, but the plan with the new house is that if it doesn't fit into the giant room / office, that it's on the cutting room floor, and I got to get rid of it. That's the plan. That's what I say now.
Now, is that the plan that you came up, or did Chelsea
I actually came up with it, but she definitely supports it.
I'm sure she. Chelsea Green is one of my favorites. Got to work with her quite a bit when she wrestled here in Austin for Wrestle Circuit. So, just a fantastic individual. Let me ask you this: you got released from WWE in 2020. Since then, as I said, you have become among the hottest names in wrestling with everything you're doing, including everything at TNA. Was there ever a moment where you doubted yourself about what you were going to do, or was this just you were going to go out, blaze it, and do everything?
Well, I knew that I had to leave WWE. And I was thinking about it for a while. I was offered a new contract. I didn't sign it. I didn't say no, but it was more like, do I stay? Do I go? Do I stay? Do I go? Ultimately, the decision was made for me. Oh my God. Thank God. However, it's the middle of this, not even the middle, the beginning of this pandemic. There was nowhere to go indie wise. You know what I'm saying? There was nowhere to go. So I knew that I needed to change. I knew I couldn't just be Matt Cardona, but still act like Zack Ryder. You know, I had to be a whole new man. And it took me a while to figure out what that was. You know, I certainly didn't get fired and said, "Oh, I'm gonna have this death match that's gonna change my career." No, it's just something that happened. The GCW death match with Nick Gage happened. But even before that, you know, TNA Impact Wrestling at the time, they were the first major company that gave me an opportunity, and I got my feet wet there, and I got re-comfortable there. But still, Matt Cardona it wasn't Zack Ryder, but it wasn't who I wanted to be. And I didn't know the change that was needed. And like I said, once I found GCW and that death match, it changed me, and it was able to seamlessly change who I was in places like Impact, TNA, or NWA, or any independent I went, where I was this villain, this hated individual in GCW, and it slowly trickled where the whole world hated me. And now, you know, when I came back to TNA a couple weeks ago, I was coming, you know, just to watch this wedding, and the whole place is booing me. I didn't understand, you know. So then I had to hit PCO with a brick, you know. So I really blame the fans for that.
Well, and we're going to get into that here in just a bit. So I'm doing the research. I'm looking on Wikipedia. Now, according to Wikipedia, we all know, you know, could be accurate, could be not. You started wrestling 20 years ago this month. In fact,
that is not true. Not true.
Okay. All right. Let's get it corrected.
I started training in September 2003, and I had my first match, and I want to say April 2004.
Okay. So it's still been 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
20 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
which is crazy to even think about, because I don't feel like I've been wrestling 20 years. You know, I feel like I have so much more gas in the tank, you know, and it just, time has flew by.
Imagine.
It's wild.
Besides the championships, I see the NWA World Heavyweight Championship there, which of course you're a proud holder of. Besides all the championships, what are you most proud of with, you know, in your 20-year career?
Man, I think I'm most proud of the fact that so many times I've been counted out, and I mean, like, truly counted out, like, this guy's never going to be anything, or never going to be anything again, or you'll never hear from him again, and counted out by whether it be the office, the fans, and sometimes myself. And I've always found a way to come back through my hard work, whether it be starting the YouTube show in 2011, or even after that fizzled out. You know, I even question, like, am I ever going to make it back, like, you know, to a WrestleMania? And then sure enough, winning the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania, or when I get fired from WWE, like, where's my career going to go? There was so much unknown. And like you said, like, I think my name is one of the most talked about names in pro wrestling. I'm a free agent. I could show up on any TV show, and I know there'll be a reaction. A couple of months ago, I wrestled Adam Copeland on AEW. Surprise, got a holy shit chant on my entrance. You know, it was the most social thing for their show that week. So when I showed up on TNA, great reaction. You know what I'm saying? If I could show up anywhere and there'll be a reaction, and that's because of all the hard work I've done. Also, the fans supporting me, which I definitely appreciate. But it's me just not quitting. You know, this journey is not over until I quit, and I'm never going to quit.
Man, and like I said, I have all the admiration in the world for you. I want to ask you this, because it's always interesting to find out, like I said, someone like you that is on the go constantly, when you do get that rare downtime where you don't have to wrestle for TNA, or you don't have to go on the road or anything, what is it that you do during your downtime? Is it something with Chelsea? Is it something, you know, what's that? What fills your downtime?
Yeah, so this week, I took a little staycation with Chelsea. We invited some family down, and I live in Orlando, but we took a staycation at Disney World at the nice hotel. We did the parks, the restaurants. So, like, I didn't get on the flight, which was actually nice, but it was cool to be in a nice hotel and do all the theme parks and eat the nice restaurants and just go by the pool, eat a hot dog, but then also have like this amazing 5-star meal later on at a very nice restaurant. So I'm a big Disney theme park guy. So I like to do that on my downtime.
I've noticed that on your Instagram there are a lot of pictures of you and others, at Disney World. What's your favorite part of Disney World?
Man, I think as an adult, um, knowing that there's also like great restaurants there, like, and I'm talking like top of the line, top notch restaurants. And listen, don't get me wrong. I was there the other day. I was there Tuesday. I was eating a hot dog on the corner, But Wednesday night, I was wearing a suit, eating a meal that was very, very expensive.
Hey,
I'm saying, so I love that you can do everything there. You can do it all.
that sounds wonderful. That really does. Um, yeah. Prior to your return to TNA, you were sidelined with a torn pec injury, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly. How's the pec? How's your health? How are you doing physically?
Listen, there's no good time to get injured.
Mm-hmm.
But that was certainly not a good time. I just come back to TNA. I was just celebrating, so to speak, my 4 years of being released from WWE. Put out this killer like video that got over 1 million views, but then I had to announce, oh, that video is great. Thanks for watching. By the way, I'm hurt. I'm going to be out for 6 to 8 months. But I busted my ass, and I'm coming back in 4 months. My return match is next Sunday for GCW. But yeah, the doctor said 6 to 8 months. I did it in 4 because I'm hustling. I love the hustle. I love the grind, and I have so much more I want to accomplish. I see that TNA is absolutely killing it with NXT. I want to be a part of that. I want to get back on the back on TNA, especially when SDL's my partner, my property is marrying PCO behind my back. I gotta go and see what's up over there.
Okay, so and I want to ask something about the NXT TNA crossover. First, let's get to this rivalry you've got with PCO. You mentioned you surprised him at the wedding.
Yeah.
You crush a cinder block across his head, which it's PCO, so that might have given a headache. I don't know. Now look, like I said, all the respect in the world to you, but PCO is kind of a monster. You're
He's a
poking the bear,
monster.
kind of, right?
He's
So
definitely a monster. He's violent. He's dangerous. But I'm the deathmatch king. So I'm afraid of no man. And I know PCO might be more monster than man, but he's no match for the deathmatch king.
okay, all right. And then on top of that, Steph Delander, who is marrying PCO,
Yeah.
you gave him this warning about don't mess with your property. Now, I don't know if Steph would enjoy being called your property.
Well, she
And
shouldn't have
she's
signed the
not
contract.
and she's not exactly but she's not exactly a dainty little thing either. She's pretty physical too.
No, that's right. She's the baddest bitch on the indies, but she signed on the dotted line. When I plucked her out of obscurity in Australia, when I found her, I gave her a contract. She signed. I said, "Listen, I'm going to change your life. I'm going to change your career." And I did that. Listen, she helped me big time too. Chelsea left. I needed something. I needed a missing piece. SDO is that missing piece. We dominated the independent wrestling world together. We were on the cover of PWI. We wrestled all over the world, winning titles all over the world. And then we came to TNA together. It was supposed to be magical. She was supposed to win the Knockouts title, me the world title, but I got injured.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her, Steph, keep going. Keep doing your thing. I said, go win that Knockouts title. I didn't say go get married to PCO. And she didn't ask me for my permission. The audacity to not ask me if she could. The audacity
yeah.
to not ask me if she could marry PCO. That's what made me come back to TNA early. I'm not even medically cleared yet.
Okay. All right. So when you do get medically cleared, besides the rivalry of PCO, you just mentioned about going after the world title, TNA World Championship around someone you've got some history with in Nick Nemeth.
Yeah.
I know you got your sights set on Nick and that TNA World title. Do you have even an inkling of when we might see that clash come about?
listen, I'm always ready. I have to deal with PCO and Steph first, but if you're not in TNA to win the world title, what are you doing in TNA?
Yeah.
That's my opinion. If you don't want to be the absolute best, if you don't want to be the guy on the poster, if they're making Power Town action figures and you don't want to be that in that set, man, I think you're in the wrong business, pal. And that's why I'm there. Not just for Zig. I don't care who the champion is. I don't care if it's Josh Alexander, Moose, Joe Hendry. I don't care who the champion is. That's why I'm there for that title because I want to be the face of TNA. I want to be the guy who's doing all the media interviews. I want to be the guy on all the posters. I want to be the guy with the action figures. I want to be the guy on all the media tours, the one who's doing everything. I want to be that guy. So Nick Nemeth's that guy right now, and he's doing a great job. And if he's champ, when I'm ready to go after that title, sorry, Nick.
There you go. I get it. I get it.
But I gotta deal with PCO and SDL first. And SDL, I love her. She's gonna realize she made a mistake with I'm trying to get that wedding annulled. Right? I'm trying to get it annulled. She's gonna realize she made a mistake with that marriage.
All right. Okay. Before I let you go, I would like to ask a favor for you. I do this show. I'd love if I could get a reader from you, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So the name of the show is Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. Do it as you.
Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
That's it.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
This is Always Ready, Matt Cardona, and you're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
There you go. Beautiful.
There you go.
He is always ready, Matt Cardona. Catch him. TNA Emergence Friday, August 30th, and then the Impact tapings the next day at Old Forester's Paris Town Hall in Louisville, Kentucky. And then 2 weeks later, Boeing Center at Techport in San Antonio for TNA Victory Road and Impact Friday, September 13th and 14th. And, of course, see him Thursday nights, TNA Impact on Access TV. Matt, I appreciate the time. Again, all the best to you, all the respect in the world. Please give my love to your lovely wife, Chelsea, and hope to talk to you again soon.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you.